Today's lesson is on goals and learning evidence for our free inquiry project on electromagnetism. Today we are going to be looking at two final sections as we get ready for our inquiry project. So the first one is, what are your goals for your free inquiry? And the second one is about what learning evidence you will gather to capture everything you're learning about your essential question. Most of us have a fairly obvious goal with our inquiry projects of finding the answer to our essential question. But there's other types of goals that we could have as well. Maybe there's a specific skill you've always wanted to develop, and this is an opportunity where you would like to go about doing that. Maybe there's a specific topic that you'd like to learn about, or there's something that you want to build or create. Trevor Mackenzie also gives some examples of really abstract big goals or questions that his students have had, like a goal that they want their learning to have an impact on the world around them, or they want their authentic piece to resonate with their audience, or even that they want to create a positive change in the community. Now, a goal doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be simple. It's not necessarily even mandatory, but this is just a chance to think about, do you have a specific goal in mind as you are learning about electromagnetism? If you look closer at the illustration here, you'll notice that there's also some different examples they have, right? Like, is your goal about wanting to understand more about something? Is your goal about wanting to create something? Do you want to inspire change? Do you want to build something? Or are you actually looking at exploring a career path? Are you curious about how electromagnetism is used in the medical field because that's somewhere you'd be interested in looking at careers in the future? Or do you want to know how it creates the northern lights just because you want to be able to appreciate it better? Or maybe you actually want to be able to start studying astronomy and that's a topic that you really enjoy. The next big part that we're going to focus on is, what learning evidence will you gather to capture everything that you're learning about your essential question? So basically, how will you show that you are learning through the process before you create your authentic piece? So there's two parts to this. The first one is gathering information. So that could be like the notes that you're taking from the videos you're watching or things that you're researching, or highlighting different articles. Some people actually do like doodle notes and they draw as they're doing it to organize it. The second one is how you're processing that information. So it could be that you're journaling after you've taken your notes to go, okay, this is what I'm still wondering about, this is what I find interesting, and you're actually processing it. Or it could be different evidence of you working towards your authentic piece. It could be those building blocks to finally get there. Your learning evidence can also be connected to what type of authentic piece or performance you have chosen. So, if you are doing something written, like an essay or a short story or a novella, you might have evidence of your brainstorming or your notes or your storyboards or different drafts or edits, so self-edits, peer edits, teacher edits of your work. If you were doing a digital recording, you might have compilations of resources that you will include in your video, or takes or drafts or storyboards. If you're doing visual arts, so like a painting, a graphic novel, an illustration, you might have sketches, photos, or time lapses of the work being created. You know how people take videos of themselves making the painting and then speed it up? Could be the creation process, a storyboard, opportunities for feedback and revision from someone with experience in this area. So it could be an artist, a graphic novelist. If you're doing a presentation, like a Prezi or a PowerPoint or Keynote, you could have a compilation of resources. So what you will include in your presentation, you could have different takes, drafts, storyboards. Photography, you could have your brainstorms, your plans, an abundance of attempts that lead to a narrowing of your published work, opportunities for feedback and revision from someone with experience. For dance, You could have your brainstorming, you could have your plans, choreography, rehearsals, photos, and video for self-reflection and assessment, collaboration with a dance teacher, instructor, or professional dancer. And if you're doing a drama performance, you'd still have brainstorming. You could have notes, storyboards, drafts, scripts, prop lists, set design, plans, edits, self-peer and teacher edits, dress rehearsals, collaborations with a theater teacher or a director. So we will also be going over what an inquiry journal is going to look like, and I will give you a format for that of what I would like you to include every day. But you can pause this video to take a closer look at what are some examples of your learning evidence that you will show that aren't just the final project. When you did your Egypt projects, there was a lot of work that went into it that wasn't just what you handed in to me. So this is kind of what would all those other pieces look like. I will attach a Google form to this assignment, and so there'll be 2 questions on it. The first one is, what is or are your goals for your inquiry project? So these can be as simple or as complex as you would like, as concrete or abstract. It could just be a reiteration of your essential question. And the second part will be asking, what learning evidence will you show? So you should have at least 2 types of learning evidence. Like you should at least have notes and something else of that processing part. And we'll go through what a inquiry journal is going to look like later.